Hello my creative critters and welcome to Sketching with Sarah. I'm Sarah and for today's video, I'm trying embroidery for the first time. So I did basically what I did in last week's video and hopped onto Amazon and found a beginner's embroidery kit with everything I would need to get started. Or should I say I hooped onto Amazon, like an embroidery hoop. Anyway, I found this kit on Amazon and for $14.99, I got a ton of stuff. I mean, I was really surprised how much stuff came in this kit and it was all pretty good quality too, or at least good enough for you to get started. And for the price, I can't complain. I won't lie, I didn't need most of this stuff for this project, but I guess it's nice to have. I mean, who doesn't love a cute little tomato pincushion? It's a classic. Even though I have a few, this one is just so cute and small and it has a little elastic band on it so you can put it on your wrist or something. I don't really know, but it's just super cute. So I have all my supplies. But what do I want to embroider? So I'm not sure what made me think of this Inktober drawing that I created with the prompts coral and sleep for days 20 and 21 last year. But I thought it would be so cute to have a little embroidery illustration of it. And this kit also came with some water erasable ink and a bunch of different colors and also the, I guess, shell of a regular pen so you could swap out different colored inks if you want that it came with. And at first I thought I would just redraw this illustration to fit the smallest hoop size that came in this kit so I could, start small. But then I just got lazy and I just decided to transfer the same drawing onto the fabric and modify the coral around it. I did end up choosing one or two sizes bigger than the smallest hoop that was in the kit. But I did want to give enough buffer around the design inside the hoop. After I got in the main creature, which I guess I should mention, this is my ethereal creature. It's an animal hybrid I created of a ferret and an electric eel or something, and it's my mascot at this point, and I just love this little critter. I basically just winged the rest of the coral around him, and once I had the design on the fabric, I put it into the embroidery hoop. I did struggle a bit, but once I got it, it was pretty simple. The fabric that the kit came with is really thick and stiff. Or rather, it was hard to pull it taut even if I wanted to because it was so stiff. So after it was situated in the hoop, I cut off some excess fabric around the edges, and I thought I should probably decide on what colors I wanted to use for this project. And boy, did this kit come with a ton of options. I organized all the threads that came in this kit into color groups roughly first, so I could see how much I have of each color, and then I just started placing threads on the fabric to imagine a color palette. After playing around a bunch, I was still having a hard time visualizing it with the color threads that I had on top of the drawing, so I took my original Inktober drawing and scribbled all over it in Photoshop with my mouse because I just couldn't be bothered to set up my tablet. So I just scribbled on the colors where I thought they would work on the drawing and then chose the threads accordingly. Let me just remind you, this is a quick and scribbly mess just to get the basic colors down with my mouse. But honestly, after seeing all these colors on it digitally, I'm very tempted to go and actually bring out my display tablet and everything and make this a full-fledged illustration or maybe a sticker design or something. I just think it's such a cute idea and I really like the colors that I picked too. So I guess keep an eye on my Instagram if I ever decide to do that. After I was pretty confident with the plan that I created, I started preparing some of the thread because I used to have a million colors of these threads growing up because I was obsessed with making friendship bracelets and learning new bracelet designs, and it was just a whole thing. But one thing I remember very, very vividly that happened very often is the frustration of the strings getting tangled. I remember I was watching Shark Boy and Lava Girl at my friend's house, and we were making friendship bracelets, and one of the thread colors I was using got so tangled, and we both tried to untangle it, but we ended up both getting so frustrated, and we both gave up. So my friend had her mom sit there and try to untangle it, because we were just so over it, and so she was sitting over there trying to untangle this aggressively tightened little knots that was made just way worse when two frustrated kids got a hold of it. And she was sitting over there doing that while we continued to watch the movie. I swear, if you aren't careful and you look at it the wrong way, these threads will just knot themselves up, and you have to be so gentle with it. And as a kid, I guess for some reason I thought that the harder that you pull at it, the looser the knot will get, because logic. In reality, you're just making the knots tighter and even harder to pull apart. Which is why, sadly, a lot of the times when it got too much of a wad of a mess, I remember having to cut it up with scissors, and it was just so wasteful. But gosh, was it so frustrating too. So for this project, since I'm an adult now, I thought maybe I should prepare my thread and wrap them on these little plastic bobbin thingies that the kit came with a bunch of. so I don't have to use it from the loop like how it comes when you buy them at the store. I watched a bunch of videos and tried a bunch of different ways to unravel the thread, and they all worked fine, but I think the key is to keep everything loose, and as soon as you notice it bunching up even a little bit, gently pull it away from itself so that the tangle doesn't get any tighter, and for the most part it is pretty easy. I'll link a helpful video that I found on how to prep your thread in the description box below so you can learn from people who actually do this a lot and know what they're talking about. And not just me who had a friendship bracelet making obsession as a kid and haven't used embroidery floss since. So once I got all the colors that I wanted to use onto these biddies or bobbins or whatever these little plastic thread holder things are called, once I got enough threads on there to get started, I just got started. Now, if you've ever done embroidery, you know it takes time. A lot of time. And one of the reasons I wanted to try embroidery was because it would force me to slow down and just mindlessly stitch away while listening to a podcast or really anything in the background and just have a little bit of me time. I really enjoyed this similar and slow process when I took my weaving class in college. I enjoyed taking my time and weaving on the loom until the deadlines got closer. But if you're interested to see the ocean scene tapestry that I created on a weaving loom that I built myself, let me know, I'd love to show you. So since embroidery takes a while, I figured I would just do a time lapse for the whole thing. It makes sense, right? You will see the process and it all come together, but you won't have to sit here for 20 hours with me in real time. While time lapse is great and all, until you have to move the piece in any way. I learned this also trying to paint ceramics on time lapse, and unless you're being hyper conscious on how you're moving at all times, it's just so nauseating to watch when what you're watching is moving around so much and so fast. As you can probably tell here, you don't really know where to look, and if you try to focus on what I'm doing as I'm doing it, it's just really frustrating to watch, so I decided to just embroider off camera on my bed or on my couch or outside and just enjoyed the slow process of stitching everything one by one. And listen, I have no idea what I was doing or what stitches I used or what the stitches I was using were called. I was basically just stitching until the thread color filled in the shape how I wanted it to, and that's that. So the technique that I was using probably wouldn't have been beneficial to watch me do stitch by stitch in real time anyway, so I feel like it wouldn't have been helpful either way. I follow the embroidery hashtag on Instagram, and I love watching videos of people doing cute flowers and other techniques. And watching so many of those little videos on Instagram of people embroidering is part of the reason why I got inspired to try it myself. Anyway, even having the time to myself and filling in this little thread illustration, I realized very fast that I was not gonna be able to finish this whole thing by this week's Friday upload. So I really pushed myself and spent an entire day just stitching. Then I told myself I would at least try to finish the Fairyal creature itself for this video and show the rest of the embroidery in the coral and everywhere else in maybe a part 2 when I finish it. I think I'll try some new stitches or something in real time. Maybe to play with the coral in the background and give it different textures than what I have already in the Fairyal. I did try to have the directioning of my stitches follow the contour of its body, and I think I did achieve that pretty well. I do also want to mention that my method of stitching wherever, however I want, and whatever was probably a pretty wasteful way to go about it, because I went through a lot of thread just filling in one small shape, going back and forth until the thread that was on top was how I wanted it, you know? I did want to keep short stitches though, because they kind of remind me of scales or really short fur like ferrets have. But anyway, I'm only mentioning this now because I ended up almost running out of the first teal color that was from its face and head towards the middle of its back almost. So I decided to fade it out into lighter shades of this teal color as I went down the body, because it would just suck if I ran out and it wasn't at a good point to end it, you know? Plus it's the only sample of that color that I have in this kit. I don't have any other threads laying around that would match this color really. I do wish that I didn't stitch that big black line though, because I did that before deciding to blend into the other colors. So if I were to do the whole body one color, I would need some kind of line to show where the body folds, you know? But now it might not be as necessary because of the lighter colors where the body overlaps. But I feel like it's too little too late and I can't exactly go in and cover it up. I guess I could try and use the seam ripper that the kit came with and just kind of gently try to remove the black line, but at this point, I think I'm just gonna leave it, and if worse comes to worse, I might end up doing that later, but I kind of want to finish the rest of it before I do any drastic surgeries like that. Anyway, I am disappointed I didn't allow myself enough time to finish it all, but I think that's the beauty of embroidery, is that you can literally stop at any time and pick up again wherever you left off, whenever you want. And I think that the design I chose was pretty ambitious, so I want to be able to give it the time that it deserves. I hope you understand where I'm coming from, and I hope you enjoyed this video nonetheless. If you did, please make sure to leave a like on this video and subscribe for more art and animal related content. I upload a new video here every Friday, and I would love to have you come along on my YouTube journey. And guys, we are so close to 200 of you beautiful people subscribed to this channel, and I am so excited. I made a goal this year to try and reach 500 subscribers for 2021, so that way I'll be halfway to trying to get monetized. I can't thank you guys enough for all the love and support and comments you leave on my videos. They all truly make my day, and I do take the time to read all of them and respond to everything, so please don't be shy and let's talk about art. Have you ever done embroidery or weaving? Would you be interested to see the underwater scene tapestry that I created for my weaving class in college? Let me know. As always, I have links to the supplies that I used in this video, all of my social media like Instagram, Patreon, and TikTok, and more, along with other links that I mentioned in this video as reference to help you along the way if you decide to do embroidering too. Thank you guys so much for watching, stay creative, and I'll see you in next Friday's video. Embroidering? Oh my gosh.